Hi, I chose the nursing facility case study, and this case study discusses the difficulties that Milton faced as a disabled patient who wants to move from the nursing home to his own home. Now, the problem with this is that Milton is disabled from the waist down. He is wheelchair bound, and he might need 24-hour care. And this is a risk factor if he moves out of the nursing facility. Will he get that 24-hour care? So, first, Milton wants to learn more about his community options and what's available to him. And he also speaks with a relocation specialist who helps him understand what he needs to do and how give him more information on the move. And the relocation specialist also sets up a meeting for him with the DADS who can give him more information on the move. The case study says that the relocation specialist told Milton that this was an ongoing process and was intended to support him through transition. However, Milton would be making his own decisions, which is understandable because Milton needs to decide where he wants to live and what he prefers, which is why he also took the relocation assessment. In the relocation assessment, he got to say where he wanted to go, like he wanted to be somewhere near a grocery store, near a bookstore because he liked to read. He needed transportation to his medical appointments, and he wanted somewhere where he could be with his son. In the case study, the case manager discussed program guidelines, medical and financial eligibility, and services that were available to Milton. Milton chooses the CBA program because it offered everything that he needed. Milton also needed to pick a home health agency, which is one of the final things that he was able to do. And he picked the CBA program because it was everything that he needed. It fit his criteria, and it provided him with everything that he would need to be on his own. Even after finishing all the paperwork, it still took him months to find a place because when he tried to find a place to fit his criteria, it was a lot harder than what he thought it would be. It had to be wheelchair accessible, and it needed to be everywhere where he wanted it to be that he put in his relocation assessment. He wanted it somewhere near a bookstore, a grocery store, somewhere where his son could be with him, which is understandable, but it took a lot longer than he probably expected. Um, when he finally found a place, he couldn't even get into the place until he actually had a shower chair, which was very important because he wouldn't be able to shower by himself without one of these or get assistance from the home health agency, which he would have a worker come in every week or so to help him out with that. And he was not even able to do that without a special shower chair. And he got plenty of help. He got help from just everybody just joining together and giving him help. And he also got financial help in order to pay for all of this. Then finally, after this was all settled, he was able to be discharged and finally move into his apartment. And before he moved in, his DADS worker had his caretaker there before he even got there. But while he was by himself, he did have a mishap, which where one day he woke up feeling dizzy and his caretaker did not show up that day. And so because of this, he knew that he had a backup plan and he was able to call for help from the home health agency who was able to contact somebody else to bring them out there. And because he had this backup plan, it was able to keep him from panicking and maybe hurting himself even more than what he already was. And it's important because after this, he was able to find ways and solutions to keep this from happening ever again. And because he was able to keep this from happening ever again, he would now be more comfortable in where he was living. Because he was very frightened to maybe live by himself because he wasn't for sure what he would need help with and what he wouldn't need help with. And he wanted to make sure that everything available to him was easy for him to get to, which was also one of his fears. He did not want to not be able to get to anything. And because he had all this set up and all these plans made, that he was very prepared to live by himself, even though he felt as if he wasn't sometimes. he was, because he had these plans made for him, which was very important. And because of all this, he was able to live by himself and hopefully happily, and he was able to make it to his appointments and everything else.